Hello everyone, my name is Alejandra here with POV Magazine. Today I'll be interviewing Alfredo Pourailly for his film The Fabulous Gold Harvesting Machine. Thank you so much, Alfredo, for speaking with us today.
Thank you, Alejandra. Thank you.
Let's get right into the interview. So, how did you know Jorge and what made you share his story?
Well, I was making a film in Tierra del Fuego about other characters that were it was a cowboy story in Tierra del Fuego, and at some point I couldn't keep filming with that person, and I start participating on documentary labs and workshops, and we realized that this island Tierra del Fuego had a lot of potential to find particular stories, and I started doing my research, and I found Toto, the father of Jorge, the gold digger, and I found fascinating the idea of portraying and filming one of the last gold diggers in this island. So I went there, I contacted Toto, I start filming with him, and I went once, twice, and then I start going at least twice a year, and we spend almost 7 years on the filming. So it was a long journey, and it was a very beautiful experience of sharing with Toto and Jorge.
Yeah, I noticed that too, going over the span of like 6 or 7 years. It was a long time to work on the documentary. Kind of going off that question, what was it like experiencing the father and son duo for the 6 years you were filming?
It was a beautiful experience, but also it was challenging at some point, because of course relationships are not beautiful and nice at every moment. There are fights, there are tension, and you are in the middle of with a camera, with a sound recorder, and you need to allow that things happen, but of course you are intervening things somehow. But I feel really grateful about the chance that I have of being there in Tierra del Fuego and experience like daily moments with Jorge and Toto. And it was also challenging because at the beginning, like Toto is super, both are super friendly, but Toto it was much more open to participate in the documentary. And Jorge, and he was much younger when we started shooting, he didn't like much the idea of participating on the film. So it took me a long journey to involve Jorge on the film, and at the end he was super excited on the film, super excited participating, and he was always with his arms open to me to help me with the film and keep doing the project.
That's really nice to hear, knowing that he actually came more around with helping with the film. Kind of starting off with that question, Toto seemed like a real character. Do you have a story that you want to kind of talk about that happened off camera while working with him?
Well, he's really funny. Like he's always joking with me. Like he Toto has been filmed several times for different TV shows in Chile. So he feels like he knows how the TV shows and the films should be done. So when I was there with him, he always told me like, you don't know how to do a film. You are doing bad in the bad way. Like your project, it's not gonna be done. Like your boss it's gonna hire you. So it was, yeah, he was always like joking, making jokes about. So yeah.
That's really funny. In a way, he was kind of directing you as well.
Totally,
Job.
totally. Because at the beginning we wanted to make like an observational film to portray the loneliness of this person, and somehow, of course, we portrayed that. The film has that layer, but we accepted the way Toto was, and we start using the material where Toto was talking with me, because at the beginning I was always saying to Toto, Toto, please be quiet. I need to capture your loneliness, and if you talk to me, you're not you're not alone. So, and at the end, I realized it was a key moment on the project that when I realized, okay, the film it's this way and it's not the way I wanted to make a film. The film has its own nature and I have to accept it if I want to portray like in a sincere way, sincere, like in an honest way to portray the most honest Toto and the most honest Jorge I can.
And yeah, and I think in a way it really came across that way, you know. It felt very candid, not only between the father and son duo, but also with the loneliness aspect as well. Um, I noticed along with that, I guess, loneliness, I noticed as well that every single day he wrote entries in his journal. Did you get to capture more of those?
Well, I recorded more. We at the end we decided to use those ones. But yeah, he's always making notes on like on this diary. Like for example, it was funny because there was I wrote a note on 2015 that it was the first time I went there. So I don't know. The last time I went and I read the message I wrote to Toto because he always asked people who passed by in the mine, he asked them to write a message for him. So yeah, it's a beautiful book that Toto has there.
That's really sweet to hear that he kind of gets everyone to write something as well. That's like a nice like little tidbit, I guess, to add to the story.
Yeah, and he also make notes like I don't know, for example, Alfredo left me 2 bags of rice or 2 bags of spaghettis, or he bring 2 Coca-Colas or whatever. He make notes of everything.
That's so cute. I guess he's very mindful and wants to capture memories in writing. Kind of talking more about the production side as well as you shooting in the mines. I noticed the mines were very cramped. Did you have to sleep over there overnight? And if so, where did you put the equipment?
Yeah, of course. Well, I slept there. I like to work with a small crew, and it was myself and a sound recorder all the time. Um, I want to be like small crew to create more uh, nearness or to make the characters feels more comfortable. And of course, it happens that the mine or the little ranch on the mine, it's a tiny house, so I can bring I don't know 5 people and sleep there, and I want to sleep there because if I sleep there I'm able to capture more beautiful moments. Like I can capture if Toto is sleeping or if Toto is waking up or if Toto is working at middle of night or if Toto is listening to the radio, and I'm only able to be there on those moments in an honest way if I'm spending the time there. So yeah, and for me as well, it's about it's the idea of working as well in documentary. It's being able of experience those lives. It's being there with Toto, spending time there, realizing how hard this life is, how hard work in the mine is. I spent a lot of time. I wasn't with the camera all the time. I work a lot with Toto on the mine, working with him, helping him in the mine, and doing several stuff, getting woods in the city to bring it up. So yeah, I think we did like collaboration, like they were helping me making this film, but I was there also helping them with anything they needed.
It sounds like you created this relationship where you help each other out from day to day as well. Um, Capturing those everyday little things really makes and adds to the documentary story. Kind of talking about how you filmed in the mines. It's a very wet and damp place. Did you have any special setup for protecting the equipment so it doesn't get damaged at all?
Well, being sincere, no. But yeah, I work with a Canon 5D Mark IV, and it's HD. It's not 4K. It's just full HD. But the camera it's super like heavy weather resistant,
Mm.
so it worked very good. At some moments when we were filming outside, that was really cold, and we went inside to the little house, to the little cabin, and he started the fire. I got a lot of condensation on the camera, so I had to pay attention on those moments. And yeah, but at the end you spend a lot of time, so maybe I lost some moments because of that, but then those moments will come up again, and you will be able to capture. But yeah, it's really cold, really, a lot of humidity, and the equipments feel that.
Yeah. Well, at least you were aware of the surroundings outside, but you got some really great shots. So I think it was all worth it in the end. Kind of going off of the particular shots in the documentary, I think it's worth kind of noting that as you're capturing really up close with Toto's hands and the gold as he was working, was the goal of this to give the viewer an understanding of how precious the gold was and how all the hard work he did throughout the day?
Well, indeed, it's funny because more than the gold, I was more focused like on the hands,
Yeah.
like on the texture of his hands. I wanted to capture how hard his job was, but by portraying his hands. And of course, when he has the gold in his hands, the gold, you pay attention to the gold. But I was more focused in the story that his hands told us or tell us.
Yeah.
And
And
of course, it was a way to explore different narratives on the film as well. So playing with those close shots, it was also a possibility of maybe getting into Toto's head as well, and creating more layers in the story.
I think it really added some more layers as you put that into the story, getting really close up with his hands. Kind of just wrapping up the interview soon. Just have a couple more questions for you. What is a message that you want to give viewers for this documentary?
Well, the message, I think it's related the way they see their own lives. The film portray a relationship between a father and son, and how they overcome all the difficulties they have in their story. So I think the film it's a reflection about that, about the difficulties we can find in our personal lives, and how we can overcome to that. I think it's a story that can be very universal, because it's the time on your life when you have to take care of your fathers, and it's a difficult moment, but in this case they manage to overcome in a happy way. And I think for me it was very important to think about a happy ending film, a happy story. Of course, it has a lot of drama, like same way as life is, but it was very important to have like a happy feeling about the story.
Yeah, no, I think that's a beautiful message. Through thick and thin, family will always be there for you to overcome certain obstacles and challenge that comes your way. So my last questions are spoiler questions. So for those who have not watched the film yet, maybe just skip to the end. My question is, how did you feel watching the gold machine working? What was your reaction? What were you feeling in that moment?
Well, I think I cried at some point. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was like feeling I don't know how you call it, but when you feel the things
The
on
goosebumps.
yeah, like it was crazy, because we were waiting for that moment to happen. I don't know, 4 years. We were filming, it was pandemic and everything got delayed. And they, of course, they have their own life. So it wasn't only about the machine. Jorge needs to work on other things and so on. So, and a lot of people ask us or recommend us to finish the film without the machine. But our team decided to keep trusting on Jorge and Toto, and they finally will finish the machine. And when I was there, like I was seeing that it was finally happening, it was I don't know, it was very, very exciting. And yeah, and then yeah, I don't know, I can spoiler.
I was also so happy to watch the end, like watching Latino dads take out their phone and taking pictures. Like, that's how you know they're proud of their family and proud of the whole situation. Um, Another question that I was gonna ask, I personally want to know, did the machine at all end up making more money for Toto and his son so he could hopefully retire or work less?
Well, they are on that um, because well, in Tierra del Fuego, it's a lot of in winter. It's very cold, a lot of snow up on the mine. So for them, it's very difficult to work. They don't have the instruments, the materials to work with the snow. So they had when the final scene of the film, we shoot it last May. So we shoot that scene, and then I don't know, the month later, 1 month later, they stopped working because it was a lot of snow. And this spring summer, they have been getting a lot of details done. So, but yeah, I think if they keep trusting in the project, they should get a reward about it. Of course, it's a lot of money and time that sometimes they don't have it. That's why Jorge needs to work on other things and not he can't focus just on the mine because or in the machine because he needs to earn money to invest on the machine. So it's like a circle that get things a little bit slower. But I think if Jorge keep working on it, he will definitely they will see the results.
I hope they do too because they deserve a good break, a good long break. Alfredo, thank you so much for speaking to us today at POV Magazine. It was such a thrill to talk about you and to talk about your documentary. For those who are going to watch it, please do soon at Hot Docs. It is amazing, and I definitely recommend it.
Thank you, Alejandra. It was a pleasure, and yeah, I hope people can go and watch the film in Hot Dogs.